Thanks for joining us on another episode of Is There More, the podcast. My name is Megan, and I'm listening. Today's guest is a super talented and hardworking 25-year-old filmmaker who makes short conceptual work about her life and the way the world works. Because she grew up struggling with extreme social anxiety, her greatest accomplishment is a recent short film contest/networking event she threw for an organization she founded called Salt Lake Film Club. There is more, but I'll let her tell you the rest. Welcome, Zoe Kismet. Hey, Zoe.
Hey.
You just finished an event, a big event with Salt Lake Film Club, which you founded. Am I right?
Yes, I
Cool.
did.
Tell me about that club and tell me a little bit about the event.
So I started the club in December. So it's been growing pretty fast. And I started it because I feel like Salt Lake really needed a creative community. So it's been really cool to see like all the creatives come together. We had an event that was Friday. And yeah, it was a lot of people that showed up. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Cause like I'm like an introvert, so like that's really out of my comfort zone.
Oh, wow. You weren't expecting that
Yeah,
many people?
yeah, it was crazy. Wow.
How does that feel?
It's like it doesn't feel real, and it like I don't even know if I can like celebrate. Like I don't know. Like I have like a weird like I don't know. I just like can't celebrate my accomplishments, I think.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
um I can
You
relate to
feel
that.
that? Yeah.
Yes, I can relate to that. It's almost like for me it's like if I accomplish something, it's like I almost don't even notice it's an accomplishment. Um, which is
Yeah.
why today when we got in that Forbes article with creator
Yeah.
houses, I was like, I'm gonna make a post about, because I never even post about anything. So I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
finally make a post about something that is an accomplishment.
Yes. Congratulations on that, by the
Thank
way.
you so much. We have a great team over here. I'm only just a small part of it, but like it was cool to see she picked this podcast to be
Yeah.
featured in it. I was like, this is so funny. 30 days in, I don't even have a mic yet.
See?
But
It's not
but
about the equipment. It's not.
right. So we got to know each other a little bit on Threads, which is crazy because I
Yeah.
never thought I would even ever get on that app ever.
Better than Twitter or X. Sorry, X.
It actually is, and I've connected with some really cool people on there. I
Me
think the
too.
algorithm is like it just like knows what you want a little bit
Yeah.
more.
I mean, that's actually kind of how I started Salt Lake Film Club too, because I like was looking for a crew for like a short film I was doing, and I
Hmm.
went on Threads, and that's kind of like the beginnings of it of Salt Lake Film Club.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, Threads is that girl.
For sure.
Threads is that girl.
For sure. I think you posted the other day like something about I have so much respect for people who just do stuff even when it's not that good, but they at
Yeah.
least they're getting it done, and I hate when
Yes.
people like bang on them if it sucks because at least they did it.
It's like usually people who like hate on people trying are the people that aren't doing anything. Because like
Hmm.
if you're doing something, you know how hard it is to
Yeah.
like put it out there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm gonna play a few clips.
I would love that.
Yeah, let me pull up your YouTube channel, Zoe Makes Movies. Here it is. Once I saw your threads, right, and then I looked at your Instagram, and then I looked at your YouTube to see
Hmm.
what like where your films really were at. I mean, I watched it all, right, eventually, but I started, I think, with watching the shorts, and you had your very first short, and it says "You Can Do It"
Oh
on the
yeah,
title.
I still agree with that.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that
so
is
true.
so true still to this day. I made that because I think I was putting like film festivals and like making short films on a pedestal for so long, and then I finally made it's called Anamoya, the I don't know if you saw that one, but
Yeah, yeah.
I made that one and I was like, "Oh, like I can do this. I can do this." Like I'm putting stuff on a pedestal, but it's like, yeah. No, oh my gosh, I have so many weird synchronicity stories. What do you think about synchronicities?
I think that everything is like purposeful, right? Like I don't think anything is coincidence.
Hmm.
So there's always synchronicities, but I do think that people do not see them. Like, and even sometimes I catch myself sometimes not being able to put stuff together.
Right.
Um, if I'm not already thinking about putting that thing together, right? I see numbers, I see
Mhm.
animals, I see,
Yeah.
I definitely know a lot about all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
how about
What
you?
what kind of animals do you see at, like, what point in life?
Animals come to me through like in the home a lot. Like like there will be like
Really?
yes, there's like a dead rat on my yoga mat one time. Or
What?
like there will be like a bird who flew into the door and completely died and there were feathers everywhere. Or there will be
Oh, I wonder what
like
that
they
means.
yeah, they come to the house or like if some animal's in the house. Like one time we had a raccoon in the house. Like, so I
Yeah.
always just look up what it is and it always makes sense to me. Um yeah, do you have animals? Animal things? Oh,
I
crows.
was
I
saying
see a
with
lot of crows
crows.
too.
Crows.
Oh,
Crows.
yeah.
Like,
Lots of
when I was, like, making, like, short films, like, right before I left LA, I was, like, seeing crows like crazy, like
that's what I'm seeing right now, actually. You reminded
yeah,
me of that.
and even I saw a couple crows, like, after I had that event too, and I was like, I wonder if that means, like, I'm on the right path. I think
Yeah,
that's my because like in LA I was seeing them everywhere and then like I came here I wasn't seeing them very much and then like I saw a couple and I was like, whoa, weird.
interesting. So, do you kind of feel like that a lot? Like, am I on the right path or am I not on the right path?
Yeah, no, I've definitely feeling like I'm aligned with my purpose at this point. And
Okay,
it's
good.
been like a lot of ups and downs to get here, but I'm feeling more aligned with my purpose, my path.
Nice. Can you take me on that journey of like when you kind of weren't feeling like that and how you know, overcame some of that stuff?
I think I was really isolated at a certain point when I wasn't making anything. I wasn't creating anything. And I think that's important as a creative too, is like not creating and just kind of being in that ideation phase a lot. And I was really isolated and I was just like walking every day. And that's like kind of where a lot of the short films that I've made came from. It's just like I feel like ideas just like kind of beam into your like spirit almost.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
you like feel like, "Oh my God, I have to make this." Like I
Yeah.
have to make this. And if you don't, then it's like you're not obeying like God or like whatever, like higher power or something. But yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about the other day on Threads
Yeah,
again.
that's
On Threads, Threads sister.
inspiration versus intuition.
Intuition is the thing that you get, and then inspiration is like more of the action. Like it's like inspired action.
Do you know who Wayne Dyer is?
No.
He's like this kind of spiritual motivational speaker kind of person. He passed away, but he said inspiration is like being in spirit, like,
Oh, yes, that's great. Yeah.
and like, yeah, like being in touch with a higher, with the source of all things, kind of a thing.
Yes.
I kind of like that.
I think it was like only like a week or two ago when I realized I have all these, I was diagnosed borderline personality disorder and bipolar disorder when I finally was like, what's wrong with me, and asked my therapist to send me to a psychiatrist. I ended up quitting therapy and never looking back. So, but I realized just this past couple weeks that, yeah, the downloads that I'm getting, it's when I have episodes, when I have my borderline or bipolar episodes, is because I'm getting the downloads, but I'm not acting on them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's almost like denying your spirit, denying the things that's infiltrating you and telling you to do something and you're not
Yes.
doing it. And then that's when
Mhm.
I act out in a negative devil energy kind of
Yes.
way.
Yeah, creativity is like it's a great expression. Expression is the opposite of depression. I like that.
Oh, yeah. I keep seeing that all over. And it's
Because like
so
yeah, when I
true.
wasn't expressing myself creatively, like I really had like like depressive episodes, like a ton, a ton of
Yeah.
them. But yeah, that's a good antidote, I think.
Yeah, I love that. So take me back to that time where you were walking all the time, because I've also had those times. You were,
It was revealed to me on my nature walk.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, what happened around that time and like why were you walking? Were you looking for answers or
I didn't
what?
have a car at the time, and I was like just walking everywhere. And like in LA, nobody walks.
I know, yeah.
Nobody walks in LA. So I was kind of like by myself, just walking, and I'd listen to music. And I don't know, I just like really got in touch with just how beautiful everything is. And yeah, I would, a lot of introspection, a lot of downloads for sure during that time. So this is my next project I want to do is like a movie based on my life. And Late Bloomers was supposed to be like the first episode of that, and then I just kind of abandoned that for a minute. I put it on the back burner.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna call it Mormon Face.
Nice.
That's gonna be the series, gonna be a short film series about my life. And I had that idea when I was walking. That was one of the I was like, I should really just make a movie about my life.
Yeah.
Write what you know, right? I don't know.
Yeah. A great writer writes what they know,
Hmm.
and art is inspired by life.
Yes.
Something like that.
Life is stranger than fiction too. Is
Oh
that a
yeah.
thing?
That
That's a
sounds like a
saying.
thing. Such even especially now more than ever now.
Oh my God, yeah.
So you grew up Mormon. Are you still Mormon?
No, we left when I was 8. But like
Okay.
everybody, that's the only thing people know about Utah is like.
True.
So I went on a date with this guy, and he was like, "Did you grow up Mormon?" I was like, "Yeah, but my family's not Mormon anymore." And he was like, "Oh, well, that makes sense." And I'm like, "That makes sense." And he's like, "Yeah, well, you have a Mormon face." And I was like, "Ew." And then I was like
What is
that
that?
like honestly inspired me to start writing about my life, and that's like the first thing of the episode is that interaction.
That is hilarious. I mean, I have no idea what that means, but
I
like
was like, what does that mean? Like, and
I
then he's like, then he was like, oh, you have a small upper lip.
it's pretty
Yeah,
much the
I'm
same
like,
size as the lower lip.
yeah, like I'm
You're
pretty
like,
cool.
okay.
I'm like, um,
That is
yeah, but
so
he was like total like, what do you call it? Pretty sure he was watching like pickup artist videos before the date and was like, I'm gonna neg her, put her on my level, you know. That's what men
that's not cool.
do.
Do you meet a lot of guys who are like that around?
I met him on a dating app, and I've decided to delete my dating apps. Like delete my accounts, delete them. I'm like free from the shackles. Because I don't know, dating hasn't been really fulfilling for me. And I've kind of like when I'm dating a man, I feel like I'm abandoning my creativity,
Because you're putting all your focus on the man
all
kind
the
of thing?
energy towards that instead of like what matters to me actually and what fulfills me.
Yeah, I say stay married to your art. And I feel that that has been very difficult for me too, like over the years. I mean, as I get older, it gets a little easier to balance, and I also like cherish relationships more. So, but yeah, I had a big problem with that too.
Yeah. Just like I think it has to be the right person that like
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a big part of it, I think.
yeah,
You
like
can't just like be dating any Yahoo out here.
like they're just like pulling you down and like they
No,
have to be like on the same
frequency.
yeah, frequency. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah.
Frequency. When I was like 18 to like 20, I was super atheist, like didn't believe in spirituality stuff at all. And then like I don't know, something happened where I just like flipped a switch and I'm like I don't know what happened though. What about you?
Yeah, for me, I mean, same. I grew up Greek Orthodox, so
Hmm.
also pretty like repressed. Like Yeah. My
Yeah.
mom, like, sewed us ankle-length skirts and, like,
Oh, wow.
we wore, like, little head coverings to
Oh, wow.
church, and yeah, but, so whenever my parents got divorced, they kicked my mom out of her own because she was the Greek one, and she got kicked out of the church, which was her whole community because you weren't allowed to get divorced in the Greek Orthodox religion. And so that's when I really started to get a bad taste in my mouth about religion and church because that was her whole life. You know, like her parents died when she was young. She had two brothers, but one of them was mentally retarded and the other one was like pretty much a drug addict.
Mhm.
So like she was pretty solo except for the church community. And when she got shunned from that, I was like, wait, what? I felt so like heartbroken for her, but that's when I really started to be like, oh, I don't like religion.
Yeah,
And then yeah, I went super into spirituality because over time, like I don't like to say I had bad things happen to me because like I'm a willing participant, right, in life. So now
right.
I'm taking more of a active, like, mindset instead of victim. But for a
Mhm.
long time, I was in a victim mindset because of the
Yeah.
amount of horrible things happening.
Yes.
So that's when I think I really turned to spirituality and I got really into actually yoga and a little bit of like Buddhism and
Mhm.
Reiki. I taught yoga, I taught Reiki and got really into like opening my third eye and like
Mhm.
chakras and like I learned all this stuff, which was really cool. But then I realized there's something called like spiritual bypassing
Mhm.
and the spiritual ego kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I kind of realized I was living in this like elevated place that like wasn't completely real and I was almost playing a character of
Right.
myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I kind of came back down to earth and actually found another way of it's not spiritual at all, but it is an honoring of people like the people you're in relationships with and it's something we teach at the creator house. It's called dialogue life skills. So like it's the foundation for everything and I practice that every day. So it's like mirroring, validating and empathizing with the people in your life, letting them know that you heard them. So I'll give you an example of that.
Yeah, give me an example.
Okay, so you got kicked out of
Yeah.
your apartment, I think, from your boyfriend at the time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my
And
gosh.
I can relate to this, so, like, no shame, it happened to me too, and I lost every single one of my personal belongings, and I was
Yeah.
already carless and jobless, and now I'm homeless in LA, so I feel you, so yeah.
Yeah, so that actually, I think let's just go back. Okay. So I was with this man, and we were like in a situationship for like it was like for 4 years, and it was like crazy because like he was, like the stringing along thing, and I didn't think I was worth anything, and so that's
Okay,
why
hold
I
on.
stayed.
Okay, so let me see if I got that. So you were in a situationship
Mhm.
for 4 years, and he strung you along, and it made you feel like you weren't worth anything at the time. Did I get that? Is
Yeah,
there
I
more
think
to
like
that?
I think I thought I didn't deserve better. That's why I stayed with them for so long, and I let that happen because I didn't think I deserved anything more.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you didn't think you deserved anything more for a long time, so that's why you let that happen. Did I get
Mhm.
that?
Yeah.
Is there more to that?
Um, like
Remind what did you feel? Like what did it make you feel other than you didn't feel like you were worth anything? Was it like sad or lonely
there's
or
yeah, a lot of loneliness, sadness. Ah man.
like hurt in any way or
Very hurt. Oh my God. And in the same sense, like I think I was playing like a victim minds I was in a victim mindset too. Because I could have left at any time.
Okay, so you felt lonely, sad and hurt and like a victim. Are those most of the feelings?
Confused, maybe?
And
Yeah,
confused.
confused, yeah.
And what did that remind you of? What do those feelings remind you of in your past when you were growing up, like with your parents, for example?
Oh, um, maybe like not heard or abandoned, I guess. Yeah.
So, okay, so growing up with your parents, you felt like you weren't heard and you were abandoned. You were like maybe alone a lot or something like that. Did I
Mhm.
get that?
Yeah.
Is there more to that? Is there like a specific example you want to give?
Um, hmm, I think like just in general, I was like playing a therapist to my parents and like, yeah.
Okay, so you were playing a therapist to your parents, like they came to you for support,
Yeah.
and you probably wish you could go to them because they're your
Hmm.
parents.
Exactly.
Did I get that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any more to that?
This is getting too deep.
Is it both your parents?
Yeah, like I would be like the mediator kind of thing. And like,
Uh,
yeah. And my mom would probably come to me more about her problems. Yeah.
okay. So your mom would come to you more about your problems, but you would also have to play the mediator in your parents' relationship. So that made you feel lonely and confused and hurt, and you experienced that same situation in this situationship with this guy who
Yeah.
strung you along for 4 years. And you, because of your past experience feeling like that all the time, since you were in that same situation and mindset, you felt like it was probably felt like it was normal to some extent. And but
Yeah.
you know, you had a hint of awareness that like I can leave at any time, but because of your feeling like you weren't worthy, you decided to stay for 4 years.
Yes. Yes.
Is that a good summary?
It's a great summary.
Okay, well, you make sense. And what makes sense is that if, you grew up with parents who you had to mediate for, who you had to hold together, who you had to be the therapist for, you
Yeah.
would get into relationships in your present day life where you
Mhm.
kind of have to do the same thing. Like you're the crutch, you're the shoulder to cry on, and feeling as if you're kind of trapped there because maybe maybe that is your sense of self-worth. Um, I
Yeah.
don't want to put those words in your mouth, but because you
I
didn't
think
say.
yeah, definitely a past version of myself for sure. Yeah.
For sure. Okay. So that makes perfect sense, but well, what is your wish um going forward for new relationships?
Um,
Like
Ooh.
what do you want? Like what would be your ideal relationship someday?
My ideal relationship. Just oh my God, I can't cry. I can't.
You can. It would be an Oscar-winning performance if you cry. I
Good thing-
cry literally.
I think like the connection needs to be there, compatibility of like values, morals. Um, them having their own life, and then me being able to have my own life, and then us like combining lives in a healthy way and having good conflict resolution
Okay, so hold on, I'm on overload. So you want connection,
connection.
compatibility, you want the same values and
Mhm.
morals, and then being able to have your own life, they have their own life, and you're able to come together and then also have good conflict resolution.
Yes.
Is there more to that?
Oh, is there more to that? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, there she said it. She said it.
Ooh. You didn't even notice, but I've been saying it the
I
whole time.
know, I know.
So this is an example of yeah. No, this is an example of dialogue. So what I'm doing right now, can you
Mhm.
imagine? Well, first of all, let's just finish this out.
Okay.
But
Yeah, yeah.
is there any more to that? Like,
Let me think. I really like open-mindedness. That's
and you
probably
like to add open-mindedness is a big thing that you want.
Yes.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I am not probably your ideal partner, but as a friend and a, person,
Yeah.
I will grant those wishes for you.
Okay.
Right. And thank you for sharing. And now you say thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Cool. So that was, I mean, that wasn't
Yeah.
very proper. Like for it, you would say at the beginning if you were actually sending a dialogue, like, is now a good time to talk about
Okay. Okay.
because that sentence stem eliminates 50% of all conflict. Since we're all living in our own
Mm.
movies, like
Mm.
you talk about like I want to have my own life, they want to have their own life. Yeah, you guys should, and you should be living in your own, you have your own movie running. So if you
Yeah.
interrupt somebody and they're in the middle of like a meeting or just thinking about a film idea or whatever, it's like,
Right.
dude, what the you know?
Yeah.
Like, can you
Right.
not?
Can we do this right now? Yeah.
Right. So the honoring boundaries, the asking is
Mm.
now a good time,
Right.
literally eliminates 50% of all conflict.
That makes a lot of
And
sense.
then, yeah, and then the mirroring, how did you feel when I was mirroring what you were saying? Do you remember?
Um, it felt different. I don't think, yeah, I don't think a lot of people do that. I don't feel like a lot of people like actually listen.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
that's exactly right. So, and like, I'm not saying I'm any different. I had a hard time listening, because of stuff in my childhood where I'm always listening for threats.
Mhm.
So, but once I learned to dialogue, I started getting the, the relaxed brain, and I can actually mirror what people are saying, which makes me not make up stories in my head and not try to see if they're. But yeah, so yeah, it feels so good to be mirrored because it's like exactly what you said. People are usually just listening to respond, give advice, or give their, oh my God, that was me too, right?
Mhm.
So when you actually sit down and have a structured conversation and know you're going to be seen and validated and
Right.
empathized with, it's much different. So,
Yes.
hmm, do you think this life skill would help in your future relationships?
Oh, yeah, I definitely need this because, like, I don't know if I said this before, but I had social anxiety, so, like, talking to people is, like, ooh, an
Yeah.
overload already.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's a good skill to have, I think, kind of to slow it down.
It's just a practice, like
Yes.
yoga, like breath work, like any of that, prayer, anything like that. It's
Mhm.
just a practice. And
Yeah.
but the good thing about it is, like you said, it's like we are practicing it together. It's not like
Mhm.
I go to therapy and you go to therapy and then we
Right.
get home and we're like, yeah, we just still don't know how to talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're in this together. We always say all conflict is an opportunity for growth. And then
Mhm.
we're committed to growing together. So
Yeah,
it's a really cool,
I
super cool
like that.
philosophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to, continue to teach you because there's also something called an appreciation dialogue, which we don't give each other enough. And
Mm.
so the combination of those two, like, it's called like a frustration. So it's one that's like, this is how I'm feeling about this. And then there's another one that's like, hey, I really appreciate you because we also don't say that enough to each other
Yeah.
to
I
know.
definitely yeah.
Yeah, because so many people, especially like, they need to hear that because whoever says that to us, like our parents probably didn't say that to us 9 times out of 10, so we are lacking so much, love, like seriously just love and support.
Yeah. I know.
But
I've been trying to, implement that more in my life. I feel like the friends and people I'm meeting now, like, I've tried to, like, really tell them how much I appreciate them for, like not what they do, just for being them.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true, exactly, just who they are, not like
Yeah.
what they can do for you or
Yeah.
something like that.
Exactly.
That's amazing. I love that you're doing that.
Yay.
It's so cool that, that had an impact on you, and I also do wanna share before we move on, I can relate to the therapist thing for my parents and my mom. That
Yeah.
was actually I think it was my first dialogue session where I realized, "Oh, I was my mom's therapist. That's why I never talk to anyone because 'cause I'm always just sitting there waiting to be spoken to respond." because I don't matter and I
Yeah.
don't have any, like it was insane.
Like,
But
all these, like, that yeah.
and
The
and
whole
then once I realized, oh, it's because I was my parents' therapist, so that's why I don't matter. I started to be able to like slowly but surely speak up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, it's
That's what I'm
important.
getting better at, speaking up and, like, it's hard.
Yeah, you are though. I can see like you're not you're pretty vulnerable, which is really cool. And that's important as an artist too, because
Yeah.
that's where stuff always comes through is if you're able to be vulnerable. So
Yeah. Talk about the taboo things.
yeah, exactly. Part 2 coming soon. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Is There More the Podcast. My name is Megan and I'm listening. This podcast is brought to you by Dialog Life Skills, the world's scalable solution to the teen and young adult mental health crisis. Visit dialoglifeskills.com for more information and follow Is There More World on all platforms. Thanks for listening.